President Trump went on Newsmax and talked about his new social media company that he's starting and how there's a merger between his social media company and some other company. It's called like Truth Social or something like that. He spoke to Sean Spicer and makes a hilarious claim here.
I want to get to the book and what's in it, but there is some breaking news coming out right now. California Congressman Devin Nunes, a strong supporter of yours. I was there early on when he was a stalwart fighting against that Russian collusion hoax, is rumored to be joining your new media company. By the way, the SEC, apparently, according to other reports today, is already looking at that company. So can you comment on Devin Nunes' role and the SEC?
Well, I don't know anything about the SEC. I do know that Devin is fantastic, and I guess we just put out a release, and the release says that he'll be coming on. And, you know, this is just a continuation of witch hunts. Anything you do, they want to look at it. They look at it. They don't look at themselves. They don't look at Hunter. They don't look at anybody. All they do is look at Republicans. Devin is a fantastic guy. I think that he will do an incredible job. If our side doesn't have a voice, eventually you're going to end up with pure communism. It's a disgrace what's going on, but you're going to end up with a communist nation. And so Devin, we just put out the release on Devin. We're very proud of that. We're proud of him. And I think it's got a chance of being a very important day, actually. I think it's going to be a very important day.
The way he talks is always going to make me laugh. Like, he just meanders into an area where he doesn't know what he's talking about anymore, and he just fills it in with generalities. I think it's going to be a very important day, actually. It's going to be a very important day. Day? You're talking about your social media company and Devin Nunes. We're talking about the day for it. Anyway, okay. So, God, look, it has to be said. Yes, I think Donald Trump's the favorite for 2024. Biden's half dead and polling at 38%. Kamala and Mayor Pete are the heirs apparent, and they're polling worse than Biden. And Democrats aren't delivering on shit right now. So I think Trump is the favorite. He's still got the Republican Party by the balls. But it has to be said, homeboy lost not just a step. He lost like 3 steps. In 2016, I'm telling you, go back and watch his closing ad for 2016. Put aside your negative feelings for Trump. We all have them, and reasonable people have them. But watch that closing ad in 2016. It was a good ad. It was a strong ad, and there was a lot of like fake populism in there, and I'm going to revive America and all this stuff. And compared to his closing ad in 2020, his closing ad in 2020 was pathetic. And then now, how he's talking now, like, what are you talking about? It's pure communism because the SEC is doing a reasonable investigation. Let me explain that to you. So the Securities and Exchange Commission is investigating the merger of the Trump media company and the technology group and Digital World Acquisition Corp. Now, the reason they're doing that is because the Digital World Acquisition Corp is a special purpose acquisition company, so they're an SPAC, and that basically means they exist only to help private companies sidestep many of the legal and financial hurdles that have to be overcome before a company is taken public. So it's basically like a company that does legal shortcuts to get you to where you want to be to approve a merger. Okay. And to go public. So it's a standard routine SEC investigation into what's going on there. Now you get, it's Trump, so Trump is getting extra scrutiny. I can make the exact opposite argument. That motherfucker gets away with everything. Everybody knows he gets away with everything. He got away with wanton violations of the emoluments clause. I told you, how many times did I tell you? He took hundreds of thousands of dollars from Saudi Arabia through his hotel, and then he turned around and gave them a multi-billion-dollar weapons deal. That's direct payment from a foreign government and then doing what they want. Jared Kushner took millions of dollars from an Israeli bank, and then Trump gives Israel everything they want. The number of times he violated the emoluments clause are endless. The number of sketchy business things that went on are endless. And homeboy's still walking around out there like he's fine, because he is. Walked away without a scratch. Russiagate, granted, Russiagate was total bullshit, but he walked away from that without a scratch. If anything, it helped him. So this idea of, they're all coming after me. Dog, you get away with everything. You stood there on January 6th before the Capitol was stormed and was like, we should all go to the Capitol and do something about this. And then you got out of it. Now, he got out of it because he talked out of both sides of his mouth, and was like, when it got too rough, he was like, all right, go home, but you're beautiful people, and I love you, and I understand why you're doing it, but go home. But, like, he gets away with everything, and he's like, they always get me on stuff. Nobody gets you on dick. The only thing is when he was like, he had to pay out millions of dollars because Trump University was a fraud, and so he settled with them because it was a fraud. Anyway, I digress. But he calls it pure communism. What? What the fuck does communism have to do with a routine SEC investigation into your shitty media company, which raised $1 billion in like 17 minutes? It's got nothing to do. God, that's what I'm saying. He lost 3 steps. Because now he's gone full Fox News grandpa. And as you all know about the Fox News grandpa, they'll just drop some shit on you that you're like, what? In other words, there's no more instinct for common sense. And you could argue Trump, even though he was also unhinged and part Fox News grandpa in 2016, he did have that instinct for common sense. Like, I'm going to keep your jobs here and Hillary's not. And everybody's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, good. Okay, that worked. Now he's like, the SEC is doing this. It's pure communism. This is pure communism. It's going to be a great day. Pure communism. He just says shit. It's just verbal diarrhea. Anyway, you get the gist. He's a mess. This is silly. There you have it. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.